There are few sounds in the Halo universe quite as iconic as the twin whine of the Falcon's rotors cutting through the sky, flanked by the rhythmic chatter of side-mounted miniguns and the distant thunder of war. The UH-144 Falcon is more than just a troop transport. It's a symbol, a flying workhorse of the UNSC army that, during humanity's darkest hours, carved paths through burning cities, alien jungles, and Covenant kill zones alike. It was there at the siege of New Alexandria, hovering above shattered rooftops and broken streets. It was there when Spartan fireteams needed exfil under fire, and it was there when the line between survival and annihilation came down to who had air support. The Falcon represented a shift in aerial doctrine, a new breed of low-altitude, high-resilience, modular VTOL designed to do what dropships couldn't and what gunships wouldn't. Built by Misria Armory, forged in the fires of necessity and refined on the battlefield, the Falcon rapidly became the UNSC's answer to versatile, no-compromise vertical lift. But for all its brute functionality, the Falcon also earned something more. Reverence. To the boots on the ground, it wasn't just a vehicle, it was a lifeline, a guardian angel with rotary wings. And for players, it was the unsung hero of Halo Reach. The cockpit that gave us breathtaking views of Reach's dying beauty, the minigun seat that rained fury on enemy emplacements, and the pulse that kept a fireteam breathing just a little longer. Now with the reintroduction in Halo Infinite, the Falcon is no longer a relic, it's a resurrection. So today, we take to the skies and dive deep into every rivet, rotor and reinforced spar of this legendary machine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most detailed breakdown of the UH-144 Falcon. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and if you're anything like me, the announcement that the Falcon is returning to Halo Infinite was a very welcome one. Long overlooked by many, yet fondly remembered by those who played Halo Reach. The Falcon is one of the most iconic UNSC aircraft of the Human Covenant War era. Sleek, dangerous and practical, and now with its arrival in Infinite, there's never been a better time to go deep. As always, a huge thank you to all of you for supporting the channel, whether it's through sharing, commenting, or supporting over Patreon where new merch, perks and Halo-themed collectibles await. You're not just helping keep the channel alive, you're actively fueling the most detailed Halo content on the platform. So, let's mount up. The UH-144 Falcon is a multi-purpose utility VTOL aircraft manufactured by Misria Armory, designed for aerial troop transport, search and rescue, and close air support roles. First deployed in 2497 during the insurrection, the Falcon rapidly became a staple within the UNSC Army air divisions thanks to its modular hardpoints, rugged airframe, and versatile flight dynamics. Unlike its cousin, the AV-14 Hornet, the Falcon does not rely on compact jet turbines in gyroscopic nacelles. Instead, it uses two variable pitch rotor assemblies powered by twin turbines, closer in concept to the V-22 Osprey or the Secret Sky Boeing SB-1 Defiant. This grants it unparalleled balance between hover stability and forward speed, especially in hostile and uneven terrains. The Falcon measures 11.4 meters or 37.5 feet in length, 10 meters or 32.8 feet in width, and 4.1 meters or 13.6 feet in height, and weighs in at 13.9 metric tons, making it of similar dimensions to the Bell 412M military helicopter, but massively outweighing it by well over double, owing to the Falcon's armoured hull plating and heavier internal components. Like nearly all modern UNSC aircraft, the Falcon is constructed from a semi-monocoque airframe built around a titanium A superstructure reinforced with internal braces and spars, likely of aluminium 7075 or 2024, based on the specific needs and stress tolerances of the respective components. The hull plating of the Falcon is made from titanium A armour and composite plating, owing to the weight of the vehicle despite its small size. These damage-resistant panels are riveted or bolted onto the lightweight underlying structure, providing resistance against small arms and shrapnel, though concentrated anti-air fire remains a critical vulnerability. The main structure of the Falcon is centered around where the wings of the Falcon join the body. This is where most of the shear forces will be applied due to the thrust generated by the engine rotors on the tips of the wings, causing stresses to be focused where the wings join the body. The wing's primary structure will be based around a simple wing spar, though will likely feature an additional internal cross-bracing beam and wing box which ties the wing structure to the body of the Falcon, while also providing additional strength and rigidity to the structure. And the wing-to-body fairing looks to be armoured with the same titanium A as the rest of the hull. Larger frame beams connected by longerons provide the core structure of the Falcon's airframe, buffeted by a network of stringers, intercostals and subframes that all work to provide additional structure and rigidity to the frame where appropriate, granting a lightweight but extremely strong structure. The fuselage integrates an aerodynamic fairing and enclosed cockpit with reinforced polycarbonate canopy. The open-air troop bay features external jump seats, modular weapons racks and magnetised footholds, allowing for fast mount and dismount even during hover. Compared to the Hornet, the Falcon has a more helicopter-like chassis with an extended tail boom and stabilising empennage for forward flight stability. Its unique rotor configuration allows it to transition seamlessly between hover and forward flight without requiring thrust vectoring nozzles. Across the hull surface, various flight avionics sensors can be found that give flight data to the Falcon's air data system, likely very similar to modern-day helicopter air data systems or HADS. The system utilises the AADS or Airspeed and Direction Sensor probe and a high-integration air data computer, alongside a plethora of static probes, total air temperature probes, radio altimeters and ATCs. Specifically on the upper hull surface, the protrusions for the VOR, VHF and ELT sensors can be found. There are optics attached to the underside of the nose for use with the chin-mounted gun. There is a light on the forward skid, two bright landing lights on the inner leading edge of the Falcon's stubby wings, and red and green navigational lights on the wings and tail tips. Two white lights can be found on the undersurface of the wings near the hatches for the troop bay, and red interior lights are visible within. The Falcon's propulsion system is one of the most robust, hybridized and battle-proven designs within the UNSC's aerial fleet. A masterclass in vertical lift engineering that merges real-world principles with 26th century material science and battlefield logistics. At its heart, the Falcon is powered by three distinct thrust systems: dual turboshaft tilt rotors, a pair of fuselage-mounted turbojets, and a highly responsive fly-by-wire control system that synchronizes both systems into a single cohesive flight envelope. The Falcon's primary method of lift and propulsion comes from its dual open-blade prop rotors mounted on articulated nacelles at the tips of its forward-swept wings. Each nacelle houses a high-performance axial flow turboshaft engine, roughly 200 cm in length, matching the real-world Rolls-Royce T406 used in the V-22 Osprey. This strongly confirms the Falcon's engines are of a similar class: twin turbine turbofshafts optimized for shaft horsepower, not exhaust thrust. Each engine drives its rotor through a planetary reduction gearbox, modulating high RPM turbine output into low RPM high torque rotor motion. The rotors themselves are variable pitch, enabling collective control for vertical lift, while the nacelles articulate up to 50 degrees, approximately 25 degrees forward and 25 degrees aft, to enable hover, translational lift, and limited forward propulsion. While sufficient for short-range flight and agile maneuvering, this limited nacelle tilt restricts the Falcon's maximum forward thrust angle, and that's where the second propulsion system enters the equation. Mounted just aft of the cockpit, partially recessed into the dorsal fuselage, are two turbojet engines, their presence hinted by the air intakes on either side of the centerline just above the cockpit, and exhaust nozzles located at the base of the tail fin assembly, heat shielding along the upper tail boom and stabilizer route indicative of sustained high temperature exhaust exposure. These UNSC designed turbojets are estimated to be around 300 cm in length, putting them in the same size class as the General Electric T400 turbojet, capable of generating high-velocity forward thrust without contributing lift. Their role is to supplement forward propulsion during horizontal flight, enable rapid acceleration or dash speeds, offload thrust requirements from the tilt rotors during high-speed runs, and provide additional control authority during transitional or evasive maneuvers. Because the nacelles only tilt partially forward and backward, rotor-generated thrust alone would be insufficient to achieve the Falcon's observed cruising speed and agility. The addition of the turbojets in tandem with the tilt rotors should allow the Falcon to reach speeds in excess of 300 knots, or around 555 km per hour, strikingly faster than the canonical 296 km per hour or 160 knots. My estimations are based on the 3-bladed rotors with a diameter of 15 feet apiece rotating at 361 revolutions per minute based on in-game observations, which I admit can be very subjective, then using the rotor's thrust plus the thrust coefficient of the twin turbojets, of which I used the GET400 for those figures, and factoring that against the mass of the Falcon and its drag coefficient and several other variables. But for the avoidance of doubt, while those calculations allow for the speed being 555 km per hour or 344 miles per hour, the law velocity of the Falcon remains 296 km per hour or 184 miles per hour. In any case, this joint thrust functionality allows the Falcon to maintain stability at low rotor RPMs and rapidly exit hot zones or outrun anti-air threats. The Falcon's real brilliance, however, lies in how its propulsion system works asynchronously. Each tilt rotor nacelle can pivot independently, allowing differential thrust angle and be throttled separately, enabling yaw and lateral agility. Simultaneously, each turbojet can be throttled up or down independently, providing torque around the central axis, and be used to assist in pitch or roll recovery by producing asymmetric thrust. Together, this grants the Falcon incredible responsiveness in atmospheric combat. During evasive maneuvers, a pilot could rotate one nacelle further back while pushing one turbojet to full burn, skid laterally across a kill zone, and even yaw rapidly around a central axis to orient its miniguns on target. This is effectively a manual vectored thrust control system, similar in concept to the F-35B's flight assist logic, but scaled for a dual-engine tilt-rotor gunship. While the specific architecture of the Falcon's powertrain has never been fully revealed in canon, the vehicle's design cues, battlefield behaviour, and the broader UNSC technological paradigm strongly suggest a propulsion model far more advanced than traditional turboshaft-driven VTOL aircraft. Given the UNSC's widespread use of microfusion reactors across its vehicle, ship, and even personal armour platforms, it is highly plausible that the Falcon employs a fusion-assisted propulsion system, one that bypasses the limitations of conventional jet turbine engines by substituting chemical combustion with plasma-based thermal expansion. In this model, the Falcon's central microfusion reactor provides continuous electrical output and superheated plasma. Rather than relying on hydrocarbon fuel and flame ignition, the rotor nacelles and dorsal turbojet units draw ambient atmospheric air through traditional axial compressors, but instead of injecting fuel, the compressed air is rapidly heated via plasma conduction vanes or magnetically regulated heat exchangers sourced directly from the fusion core. This plasma thermal interface causes the compressed air to expand explosively, driving turbines and generating either mechanical shaft power for the rotors or direct forward thrust for the overbody turbojets. In essence, the Falcon's engines become plasma-augmented jet turbines, operating on the same thermodynamic principles as real-world jet engines, but without flame, ignition sequences, or conventional fuel cycles. This concept is functionally analogous to theoretical aerospace propulsion models such as nuclear thermal jets and electrothermal plasma drives. This system offers a compelling explanation for a frequently observed gameplay and cinematic behaviour: the Falcon's ability to power up and take off in seconds. In real-world aerospace, turbine engines must be spooled up by starter motors, then ignited with precise fuel injection and allowed to reach idle RPM before throttle inputs become responsive, a process that can take 30 seconds or more, under optimal conditions. By contrast, the Falcon demonstrates a near instantaneous rotor spin-up, full lift capacity within seconds, and no visible warm-up, ignition lag, or manual startup process. This suggests the Falcon's fusion reactor remains in a low-power standby state, continuously supplying baseline electrical and thermal energy. When a scramble order is received, the flight system simply diverts power to the propulsion interfaces, activating motor-driven rotors or plasma heating channels instantly. There is no combustion to initiate, no turbines to manually spool from zero. The engines respond immediately to digital commands. In tactical terms, this makes the Falcon ideal for emergency deployments, capable of lifting off under fire, redeploying on short notice, or launching in seconds from platforms, carrier bays, or concealed hangars. The Fusion Plasma Propulsion System grants it unparalleled readiness and responsiveness far beyond anything achievable by 21st century turbine technologies. By leveraging a hybrid of fusion energy, plasma thermal airflow, and electric motor assist, the Falcon transcends the limitations of traditional aviation design. It reflects the UNSC's core design ethos: rugged, practical, and deployable anywhere, with just enough futuristic sophistication to explain its in-game agility and operational flexibility without breaking immersion or plausibility. Whether through full plasma inductance, electrically driven shaft motors, or a combination of both, the Falcon's suggested power system is not only scientifically viable within the Halo universe, it's a logical evolution of current aerospace propulsion made real by 26th century engineering. Another subtle but vital feature is the two-fold stencil lettering visible on the upper surface of the rotor blades. This strongly implies that each blade includes an automated folding mechanism, likely using servo-actuated hinges or hydraulic pistons at the root assembly, storage, and deployment. Folding rotors reduce the Falcon's overall footprint, allowing it to fit within smaller hangar bays or even pelican clamps. This functionality mirrors the blade fold and wing stow systems used on real-world naval tilt rotors, such as the V-22 Osprey, which shares the Falcon's broad mission profile and silhouette. Folding rotor systems like this exist in today's aircraft, making this feature entirely plausible within the context of UNSC aerospace engineering. Given the Falcon's battlefield role and versatile deployment profile, its logical and tactically essential inclusion. A sophisticated fly-by-wire system governs all propulsion subsystems integrated into the pilot's helmet's HUD and flight console. Likely features include auto-hover assist, adaptive thrust harmonization across nacelles and turbojets, smart fuel balancing and onboard thermal management, and digital airspeed, yaw rate and G-load readouts via Mjolnir ODST or pilot-compatible visors. With such a system, even a single pilot can manipulate all three thrust systems, rotor range, rotor power and jet throttle, with precision and minimal cognitive load. This system grants the Falcon precise control, rapid response, and reduces pilot fatigue, particularly useful for Spartan or ODST insertions under fire. The system includes HUD-integrated avionics for altitude, terrain following radar, IFF transponders and secure TACnet comms, targeting overlay compatible with Mjolnir ODST and pilot visor systems. Given the confirmed dimensions of the engines, visual evidence of the turbojets and structural logic throughout the airframe, the Falcon's propulsion system is not only plausible but technically viable with near-future aerospace technology, especially with the aid of 26th century materials and control systems. The Falcon isn't just fast, it's versatile, redundant and rugged, capable of surviving rotor damage, engine failure, or asymmetric thrust situations with multiple fallback configurations. Its propulsion system, while advanced, is entirely within the realm of modern aerospace design, with the added benefit of 26th century metallurgy, fuels, and control software. Unlike many Halo vehicles which rely on gravitic or speculative systems, the Falcon's engine and rotor configuration would be buildable today, albeit with cutting-edge materials and budgets. The pilot is seated at the forwardmost position within the fully enclosed cockpit, protected by a sloped, impact-resistant polycarbonate canopy and armoured composite framework. From this vantage point, the pilot manages flight control systems including manual stick and throttle inputs, fly-by-wire interfaces and HUD-integrated flight telemetry, nacelle articulation and rotor thrust governing both lift and direction, weapon systems, specifically the chin-mounted autocannons and any undermounted auxiliary ordnance, and tactical communications uplinks including IFF transponders and battlefield navigation via TAC map overlays. Given the Falcon's role in high-intensity, low-altitude missions, the cockpit is likely supported by shock-mounted control consoles, redundant electrical routing, and compatibility with Mjolnir, ODST, and pilot visor systems for real-time HUD synchronization. The Falcon is designed to transport up to 5 fully armoured personnel, typically Spartans, ODSTs, or UNSC Marines, seated in 2 forward bulkhead-mounted jump seats and an aft bulkhead-mounted deployable bench, and 2 external side-mounted jump seats affixed to the outer fuselage rails, facing outward to grant riders maximum situational awareness and immediate engagement capability upon arrival. These 2 outer-facing jump seats also have access to mounted armaments, if available. This means at peak load the Falcon could carry up to 5 fully armoured Spartans and their gear, weighing between 2.5 and 3 metric tons. While the troop bay is designed to seat 5 passengers, it stands to reason more could sit on the deck or stand holding onto the overhead rails or even attached via a harness, with room on the skids for at least 2 more, meaning it is possible for the Falcon to carry up to 10 Marines or civilian evacuees at a push, although flight agility and manoeuvring would likely be affected. And not an overly safe alternative, but in dire situations the risk may be worth the chance at survival. The Falcon's crew and interior layout reinforce its unapologetically practical design ethos. It doesn't offer comfort, it offers survival, deployment efficiency, and in-flight combat readiness. In that sense, it's less of a vehicle and more of a flying tactical extension of the fire team it delivers, a platform built to keep pace with Spartans, drop them on target, and bring them back under fire if necessary. Despite the Falcon's compact frame, it includes a number of critical safety and mission support features, such as shock-dampened magnetic footholds. While not explicitly confirmed in canon, in-game behaviour suggests that external passengers remain firmly planted even during violent manoeuvres or evasive flight. It's plausible that the Falcon incorporates magnetic locking plates within the floor rails, potentially compatible with Mjolnir boot magnets, alongside shock-absorbing mechanical dampeners to reduce G-force transfer during sharp banking, descent, or rotor torque shifts. Emergency oxygen supply lines, located along the inner edge of the jump seat rigging frame, these oxygen lines are standard for high-altitude insertions. They allow Marines or Spartans operating without sealed armour to remain functional during low-pressure or low-oxygen operations, especially when operating above 10,000 feet, or in variable atmosphere colonies. Internal harness hooks and D-ring mounts. For non-Spartan passengers, the Falcon includes modular lashing points and retention clips, allowing troops to tether themselves to the aircraft using magnetic or mechanical harnesses. This ensures security during sudden course changes or partial evasive maneuvers. Tactical command and control interfaces. Though minimal in physical size, the Falcon integrates TACnet uplink ports and encrypted command interface nodes within the troop bay. These allow real-time data sharing between ground units, command elements, only operatives or Spartan fire teams on board, orbital or aerial fire support, or hardpoint toolkits. Some field-upgraded Falcons include stowable ammo lockers, hard cases for data cores, or attachment points for medkits and survival gear, especially for remote deployments or high-risk extraction missions. And finally, acoustic dampening and HUD isolation. Though open air in many places, the cockpit and interior utilizes acoustic foam, directional speakers, and helmet-linked HUD filters to counteract rotor wash, battlefield noise, and gunfire, ensuring pilots and gunners can communicate without interference. The Falcon's offensive systems are modular and mission-specific. Mounted on most variants of the UH-144, the M638 autocannon serves as a chin-mounted rotary gun designed to enhance the aircraft's forward firepower in both anti-personnel and anti-armour roles. This weapon system delivers high-velocity explosive shells, each capable of inflicting lethal damage not only through direct impact, but via concussive force with a localised blast radius, making it particularly effective against entrenched infantry and clustered targets. In battlefield conditions, the M638 excels at suppressing fortified positions and eliminating soft targets such as Covenant infantry squads and Shade plasma turrets. Its explosive munitions are designed to detonate on contact or shortly thereafter, dispersing fragments that can wound or kill enemies even without a direct hit, ideal for clearing choke points or disrupting defensive lines during low-altitude strafing runs. Against airborne targets, the autocannon demonstrates surprising versatility. The M638 is capable of engaging fast-moving aerial threats, such as Type 26 Banshees, with enough stopping power to either cripple their control surfaces or destroy them outright with sustained bursts. In skilled hands, or under AI targeting assistance, the Falcon can even use the autocannon to repel multiple aerial interceptors or provide covering fire for allied Pelicans and ground forces during extraction or assault operations. However, despite its versatility, the M638 is not without limitations. Heavier enemy vehicles like the Type 52 Phantom or Wraith mobile artillery platforms can be destroyed with prolonged concentrated fire, but doing so requires sustained targeting time, which can be tactically risky. Holding a hover or engaging from a stationary position to maintain accuracy leaves the Falcon vulnerable to counterfire, especially from return plasma bolts, fuel rod cannons, or heavy needle volleys. That said, UNSC pilots and gunners often exploit a key vulnerability in many Covenant vehicles: exposed operators. On targets such as Wraiths or Revenants, eliminating the driver or gunner often disables the vehicle outright or leaves it helpless against airborne threats. In these cases, targeted strikes from the M638 can neutralise a vehicle's combat effectiveness without the need to fully destroy it, conserving ammo and reducing exposure time. Altogether, the M638 autocannon transforms the Falcon from a simple transport into a formidable aerial gunship, capable of responding to threats across multiple domains: infantry, armour and air, with speed, precision and raw kinetic force. Falcons have been witnessed with no chin-mounted guns, but the two gimbal-mounted gun emplacements still in situ, a nose-mounted cannon but either no gun emplacement or stowed emplacements that are unable to be used, or a full complement of chin-mounted cannon in both emplacements, with the emplacements themselves able to hold different types of guns. Though it has undergone numerous revisions and field upgrades over the years, by 2552 the M247H heavy machine gun has evolved into a battlefield mainstay whose core design philosophy remains rooted in rugged simplicity and overwhelming suppressive fire. Superficially, its modern form closely resembles the standard M247 general-purpose machine gun, but the H variant has been specifically adapted for vehicle integration and crew-served operation aboard platforms such as the UH-144 Falcon. The M24H is a gas-operated air-cooled electrically fired heavy weapon system utilising a linkless feed mechanism for increased reliability in high-mobility, high-vibration environments. Ideal for aerial gunships and rapid deployment vehicles, it chambers the M340 high-velocity explosive round, a potent 12.7 by 99mm cartridge designed to deliver both armour penetration and localised explosive damage on impact. The firing interface is mounted at the weapon's rear with a twin-grip handlebar assembly and a central electronic trigger. This setup allows the operator to traverse the weapon laterally across 180-degree arc, granting broad coverage against infantry, light vehicles and incoming aerial threats. This wide sweep range is particularly advantageous when mounted on a rotational pintle mount aboard aircraft or ground vehicles, where responsive targeting is critical. When installed on the Falcon, however, the M247H is fielded in a stripped-down variant that omits the protective shield, a logical adaptation to reduce weight and improve field of fire for side-mounted gunners. On the Falcon, these guns are positioned to deliver sustained suppressive fire during troop insertions, extractions, and urban close air support, often operated manually by onboard Marines or Spartans. Despite its relatively simple design, the M247H's blend of explosive kinetic impact, high rate of fire, and robust engineering make it a formidable weapon in both static and mobile roles. Whether mounted on a ridgeline outpost or raining fire from the side bay of a hovering Falcon, the M247H delivers battlefield dominance through sheer volume and mechanical reliability, a true workhorse of UNSC combined arms warfare. The M460 automatic grenade launcher is a heavy-duty vehicle-mounted support weapon designed to deliver high-volume, indirect firepower with a devastating mix of kinetic, explosive, and electronic payloads. Mechanically, it shares a striking resemblance to the M319 individual grenade launcher used by UNSC infantry, and more importantly, it utilises the same class of 40mm munitions, enabling unified logistics and flexible engagement profiles across infantry and vehicular platforms. Among its standard ammunition types are the Mark 110 MOD-2 HEDP high explosive dual purpose grenade, effective against both infantry and lightly armoured targets, producing fragmentation and blast overpressure, the XM-20P electromagnetic pulse or EMP grenade, designed to disrupt or disable electronic systems, vehicle shielding and powered armour, making it a key tool in engagements against Covenant and banished hardware. Unlike the single-shot M319, the M460 is a belt-fed automatic system built for sustained bombardment. It features a high-capacity ammunition feed, allowing the gunner to unleash multiple grenades in rapid succession, a critical advantage when suppressing entrenched infantry, disabling vehicle columns, or blanketing a landing zone in fire before a troop insertion. The weapon itself is bulky and robust, optimised for mounting on hardpoints such as those found on Falcon variants, Warthog gun platforms, or fixed perimeter defences. A Picatinny rail mounted along the top spine allows for basic optics or electronic sight integration, while iron sights serve as default targeting aids for short to mid-range engagements. Crucially, the M460 retains the remote detonation system featured on its infantry cousin. The side-mounted fuse control unit enables the operator to manually trigger grenade detonation mid-air or after ricochet, effectively giving the M460 a programmable airburst capability. This allows the operator to detonate grenades above enemy cover, neutralizing entrenched targets, delay explosion to penetrate structures or vehicle cockpits, and trigger EMP effects over enemy formations or active shielded zones. In combat, this makes the M460 far more than a brute force explosive platform. It becomes a precision tool for controlling engagement tempo, shaping terrain, and neutralizing otherwise unreachable threats. When mounted on aircraft such as the UH-144 Falcon, the M460 provides not just fire support but area denial and electronic warfare capability, allowing the gunship to suppress both biological and mechanized opposition while maintaining safe standoff distance. In the right hands, it becomes a force multiplier, leveraging timed detonations and rapid-fire payload cycling to dominate the battlefield from above. The Falcon comes in a few known variants and a few unknown variants. The base variant, which has no chin-mounted autocannon but does carry the two side-mounted turret emplacements. The attack variant of the Falcon, armed with two side-mounted M460 automatic grenade launchers as the secondary armament, the support variant of the Falcon, armed with two side-mounted M247H heavy machine guns as secondary armament, and the Halo Infinite variant. The Falcon, recently added to Halo Infinite, has no chin-mounted autocannon and instead carries an M460 40mm automatic grenade launcher on the port and an M247H 12.7mm heavy machine gun on the starboard, with a jump seat available for a third passenger who can fire their own firearm from the open troop bay of the Falcon. There is evidence and cannon artwork of Falcons with rotary chain gun emplacements similar in appearance to the AIE 486H heavy machine gun, the same chain gun turret used on the back of Warthogs, in addition to the chin-mounted autocannon. And there is also evidence of perhaps a transport variant, with no gun emplacements whatsoever, instead relying upon passenger firearms. The UH-144 Falcon entered active service with the UNSC in 2497, initially seeing use primarily among garrison units of the UNSC Army, particularly on the Inner Colony worlds. Though introduced during the insurrection, it remained more common as a local response and patrol craft rather than frontline war machine. As tension escalated in the Human Covenant War, the Falcon saw increased deployment across a range of combat zones. It was present during key battles such as the Battle for Fermirol in April 2552, but its most iconic role came during the fall of Reach later that year. During the defense of Reach, Falcons were instrumental in troop movements, extractions and air support operations. Most notably, Falcons Kilo 33 and 34 delivered Noble Team to Sword Base, attempting to halt the Covenant's advance. They took part in major engagements like the Battle of Zerdok Ridge. They played a key role in the siege of New Alexandria, providing evacuation and combat support across the city. Spartan B-312, codenamed Noble 6, piloted a Falcon to destroy jamming towers and aid scattered UNSC forces during the city's defense. Outside of Reach, Falcons were also present during the Battle of Installation 04. Surviving Falcons from the Pillar of Autumn supported Fireteam Raven in critical engagements on the Ringworld, providing rapid deployment and close air support from Alpha Base to the control room, and ultimately during the final stand at the Autumn's crash site. The Falcon also saw action during the Battle of Earth, including one confirmed crash in New Mombasa's Section 21, likely due to intense urban resistance during the Battle of Mombasa. Post-war, Falcons remained in service. During operations on Gao in 2553, the 717th Xenomaterials Exploitation Battalion fielded 2 UH-144S Falcons for patrol, supply and troop transport. One was destroyed early in the engagement, with the Keepers of the One Freedom crashing into a hospital facility. The second aircraft supported operations for several days before crashing in the jungle after its pilot was killed mid-flight. Despite losses, the Falcon's effectiveness ensured its continued deployment. As of 2557, the UH-144 remains in active duty with the UNSC Army, a testament to its adaptability, reliability, and enduring battlefield value. The UH-144 Falcon is one of the most flexible aircraft in the UNSC's fleet. Where the Pelican is a workhorse and the Hornet a scalpel, the Falcon is a scalpel with room for 5 Spartans hanging off the side. It blends battlefield versatility, engineering elegance, and raw firepower in a rugged yet agile form. Its return to Halo Infinite is more than just nostalgia, it's a resurrection of one of the most tactically effective designs of the war era, and now, after years in the hangar, the Falcon once again takes flight. And until next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, kindly tap that like button, and if you're not already subscribed and want to see more stuff like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Pop a comment down below telling me what you thought of today's video, or if you want me to cover something specific in the near future. I want to take this opportunity to thank and give shoutouts to my patrons and YouTube supporters: Spartan10148, my singular Contender class Ancilla, the triumvirate of mines within my installation's Metarch, Falcon, Jordan and Poseidon, my 7 installation monitors, Sophia, Ashley, Esoteric, Spartan1029, Chris, Orion and Shane, the crush of sub-monitors, Legion, Ryan, Lebrat, Spartan0137, Element 0, J3, Cult, Evermore's, Personal Devil, Scion Esports, Phantasma, Ashton and 191 Shaken Lightbulb, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, my most loyal of Enforcers, and every single one of the awesome people supporting the channel over on Patreon. My Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, again, Maury, Jimbo and Balaz, and all other YouTube members keeping my installation functional on that glorious vacuum energy. I cannot thank you all enough. Shout out to John because... And if you like what I'm doing here, consider supporting the channel on one of the support links in the description to net yourself some tasty merch and help keep the channel going. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.